This is the first half of a video. Second half, I'm talking about how some of this has applied to my life in my 50 years. But this part, which I took some notes so I wouldn't lose where I was at here, is from the book of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. In work, life, or an organization, there are 4 types of situations/agreements. There are number 1, win-win. Number 2, win-lose. Number 3, lose-win. And number 4, lose-lose. Win-win is the best scenario. See, agreements don't mean much in the verbal or on paper without the character and relationships to sustain them in spirit. In other words, the relationships and the character to back them up. A win-win scenario needs to be approached from a true desire to invest in the situations and relationships to make it possible. Emphasizing relationships. From relationships flow agreements that give definition and direction to win-win situations. These are sometimes called performance or partnership agreements. If one shifts the template of the production interaction from vertical, that means top down, like somebody's all in charge of everything, and then it goes down to the people on the bottom. If that switches to horizontal, which means we're all on the same level, you can become partners in the success of work, be it a work situation, life situation, or an organization. Which leads to people synergistically focused on a common goal. This leads to creating an effective way to clarify and manage expectations between the people involved in any interdependent endeavors. Interdependent is the best way for things to work out. If you're interdependent in a group, interdependent in life, like I'm not married anymore, but interdependence definitely is a marriage situation, or family situation in general. That would also fall into church categories, work categories, teamwork, all that stuff, a sports team even. So there are 5 elements to this. Number 1, desired results, not methods. Identify what is to be done and when. Number 2, guidelines. Specify the parameters, principles, policies, etc. within which results are to be accumulated or accomplished. Number 3, resources. Identify the human, financial, and technical or organizational support available to accomplish the results. 4, accountability. Set up standards of performance in the time the time for evaluation. So, in other words, you're accountable for something, or someone's accountable for something. Those things are all set up and obvious. Number 5, consequence. Specify good and bad consequences, natural and logical consequences. What does and will happen as a result of accountability? These 5 things give win-win situations a really smooth flow. A clear and mutual understanding and agreement up front in these areas creates a standard in which people can measure their own success, thereby the success of their life, work, or organization. I am so happy the burn ban was lifted. I am burning all these twigs. I'm still breaking apart trees from the hurricane. I'm not allowed to use the chainsaw. Because even at 50 years old, my dad and my son think I'll hurt myself. If I could, I'd be using it now. While I'm working and picking up the twigs and throwing them in the burn pile for burning, I'm listening to the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Very good book. We're getting a lot out of it. I'm going to read the print version after I'm done listening. I'm discovering a very important thing, that self-management is what's important, not time management. And also, the word responsibility is your ability to respond. And there's a lot of other cool things in there that you can just hear for yourself. One thing that came to mind was places that I've worked for in the past. I'm talking like back in 2010 was one of them, way back in the past, nowhere recent, or groups that I've worked with. Leadership skills. Leadership and management are totally different things. Leadership is about people. Management is more about getting what you want done, I guess. And I've worked for some great leaders and some not so great leaders. Worked with in organizations, both great leaders. I'll leave my fearless great leader I'm thinking of right now nameless, because they are very humble, and that's what makes them an awesome leader. You know who you are if you're listening to this. Oh, I need some honey, by the way. And then I've had to bite my tongue with others. I'm a person that likes everything laid out in an outline format. Now, my personal self, when I go flop down the bed, I don't care if my bed's made, or my clothes are perfectly folded. To me, that's sweating small stuff. I got other things to do. But when I have a task project or anything of that nature, work assignment, whatever, I need an outline. I don't need necessarily a written outline, but I need an outline basically of what to do and how to do it. And when my task is done, or how you want it done, I should say, I know how to do it. But when it's done, and it's agreed the job is done, and the job is approved or it's liked, and then, okay, cool, thanks, I'm glad you like my work. And then I'm told, someone comes back and says, the same person will come back and say, oh, I don't like this about it, or we don't like this about it. Yeah, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Especially if I've done it and redone it and spent hours and hours on whatever work or project it is. Or after, you're told it's done well, it's liked and all this. Oh, great, it's beautiful, I love it. Then suddenly it's not great. Oh, and suddenly they want, oh, we're going to give this to someone else. And then this someone else may actually be compensated better than you. Or even if you, not necessarily, whether it be a work thing or some creative project, just whatever. Now I'm 50, so there's been a lot of incidences in my life I can name. They're few and far between, but when they do happen, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And it's part of that whole outline thing, organization thing. I'm not personally super organized because I have an artsy mentality, but because I'm artistic and all that. But my work life, I need to have it laid out. I want to know what is expected, what we got to do, time level, etc. And one of my previous jobs was excellent about that. And I was that person, boss could just literally jump through my door. Hey, I need this, this, and this. Can you do this? And I'll be in the middle of something totally different. And I just jump on it, do it, and it's done. And he's happy. That's that kind of thing, okay, yeah, okay, I'm good with this. We're done. Let's go to the next task, because there was always another task. And that's kind of how I roll with any task, be it something I'm just doing to as a favor or as a work thing. I need a template. And in this book, we talk about, well, I don't talk about, Stephen Covey talks about the lens you look through. I'm looking through currently a prescription double polarized sunglass lens. If you put on my double prescription polarized whatever sunglasses, you're going to see things a little oddly and probably queasily. Whereas if I put on your glasses, if you have any, or if I'm going around with no glasses because you wear none, I can't see very well at all. Totally different perception. So sometimes in life, we need to look at things through other lenses, other people's perceptions, how they may be looking at it. And I try to do that when people are not good with giving me a template for something or changing things. I don't like people changing things around constantly. Oh, that annoys me. But anyhow, I try to look through their lens. But they need to look through mine too. And think about that too. So, and then you have to decide what you want to do, and what you don't want to do. Kind of divide your priorities into fourths of a square. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And it was interesting, the most effective people prioritize things as what they could take care of at the moment. And you have to read the book to get it all, but I started thinking about, well, I don't do the flighty stuff, I don't think about, what can I do for pleasure at this moment. I don't try to do everything all at once, though I have in the past tried to do everything all at once and not delegate. I'm still not the best delegator. And then there's to do the things that you can handle at this moment, effectively get done well, and then someone else can do this, or you can put it on the back burner. Okay, I'm going to do this later, this now, this can wait till later, that kind of thing. I think it's important that we all kind of realize that. All right, well, back to my fire. I'm going to go get me some more limbs, or maybe I'll go eat some red beans and rice. I think I'm going to do that instead. It's Monday, it's red beans and rice day.